Hello, hello. Hello, you guys. Welcome. Hello. I'm so stoked you are here. Let's oil up. Write your goal at the top of the page. Tapped into you with your goal achieved. I am going to watch the Facebook group. As we go through. Beautiful. So for these of you that are live on Facebook, hello to you. Okay, let's dive into our Q&A. Okay, I'm in lesson 6 of Thinking Results. I'm asked about making a movie. Am I writing about how it is now or how I want it to be? And what is an image consultant? So you're doing both. So the first part is you are writing about your current story, right? And I really want you to write it in all its detail. And you want to start really thinking about the role that you play in your own life. Are you the star player or are you the supporting actress? Are you the forefront or are you the background? Do you go for what you want or are you hanging back? Are you settling? Okay, so I want you to pay attention to that. So that's probably like the first few questions. And then about, the last questions all are really trying to evoke out of you what you want to do moving forward, how you want to see yourself. Okay. And that part is the key. Okay. And it's really starting to look at yourself and how you want to be on the outside to match you with your goal achieved, you on the inside, your true self, right? Because we have, like we learned in psycho-cybernetics, we have two two versions of ourselves, right? We have two images, the one that we have inside and the one that we project to the world, right? So here you want to make sure that the one you're projecting to the world matches how you are on the inside with your goal achieved, right? Because your outside is just a manifestation of your inside, but your outside is kind of in habit as well. Okay. So it really helps for you to recognize where you fit into your own life and the stories that you're telling yourself. Okay. To answer that part of the question, the second part was, what's an image consultant? So an image consultant, you can find them in like big department stores. You could Google one, and ultimately, if you need support, like you have a vision of, say, how you dress, how you do your hair, how you you've kind of got a Pretty Woman. If anybody's seen Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts, if you haven't, where are you living? It's kind of like how she starts to feel a certain way on the inside, right? And she needs to match that on the outside, right? And so you go into these stores, or you find this person, they're online now too, and you tell them who you are with your goal achieved, and they match your clothes, your hair, your makeup, your jewelry, however you see yourself, right? And then they make recommendations for how you should be dressing and how you should be, right? And though it is extremely powerful to do this type of exercise, particularly if you see yourself, with a new style with your goal achieved, right? Like if you see yourself, talking on big stages and you're like wearing certain things, right? You need to you need to, you know, do you know where to even buy those clothes or get your hair done like that or do your makeup like that or whatever that is. So that's where they're an image consultant, but they specifically, they help your outside match your inside. But first, you lesson number 6 is all about getting your inside to how you want it, because your outside is always just going to reflect your inside, right? And the girls and I talk about this all the time. Allie said to me, why are all of the like evil people in movies, why are they always really ugly? And I said, because they're evil, like their outside matches their inside, right? And she goes, oh, so if I got really evil, I would get really ugly. And I was like, yep. Right, maybe not right away, but eventually your outside matches your inside, right? And I think Disney does a really good job of uh, Disney's just brilliant at hiding all of the hidden pieces of life in the universe and the laws and humanity in their movies. I just love Disney for that. And but that's that whole piece, right? You want to be able to look on the outside the way you feel on the inside, right? And that you want the two to be in alignment, right? And you've already felt that before, right? So picture if you've ever like maybe like gone to a wedding, or like you've like got dressed up and you're going out and you really like, or you just got a new outfit, even if it's not like a super dressy outfit, right? And you just feel like yourself with your goal achieved, right? Like I know for myself, me with my goal achieved is still wearing Lululemons and a tank top, right? But for me, when I have like you're not going to ever catch me like really wearing, like I don't wear, like I think I have like 2 black shirts, right? I don't wear a lot of dark colors because that's not the high vibrant me, right? When I'm starting to get a tan, I feel more like myself because Dylan with her goal achieved, works poolside and seaside, right? So this is where it's like, oh, okay, like you can start to feel like yourself, right? Your true self. And it's not whether I was wearing my makeup or not, that's who I would feel like. Okay. So, and this is where, if you ever did like Awaken Abundance or any of the other courses, and I challenge you, you with your goal achieved, like, do you wear like bright red lipstick, like, and get uncomfortable, right? And if you were to put on bright red lipstick and really like it, but do you have stories in your mind about what bright red lipstick means? Like, were you ever told, you know, I don't know, only skanky people wear bright red lipstick or something? I don't know, right? And then you put it on and you're like, well, it looks really good, but oh, I should probably take some off because it looks dot dot dot, right? Um, it doesn't matter how other people think that it looks. Is it you with your goal achieved? Okay. And image consultants can help with that as well. If you're like, oh, I'm not sure, right? They basically take who you want to be and they match you up with it on the outside. Cool. Really good. Do, do, do. So I'm starting TIR again. Awesome. Starting over with my new goal. And it's so funny. I feel a bit stuck. I've done this before, but I think I'm overthinking it this time around. So possibly you are, likely you are. Just again, get back to the basics. You've now been through it with one goal and you've achieved a goal, right? So now you have, like, don't get too caught up in this like C-type fantasy goal, right? Like, yes, you want to be thinking bigger, but if you've been through TIR once, you're already thinking bigger. You can't help but think bigger, right? So now just start making a list of everything you want and pick one. It doesn't matter which one, but the whole idea is to use TIR to achieve that goal, right? So, the only prerequisite, like Bob says, is you have to want it. That's it. So go after something, though, that you've never done before and something that excites you. It doesn't need to be, I'm going to have, $100 million in a year, right? You don't need to go right to the $100 million. Maybe your ultimate goal is to have $100 million, but you're going to choose your base camps, right? And so you use the first round to get to base camp number 1. Now go to base camp number 2. And base camp number 2 is also something off that list that excites you. And you're going to now go through the whole program again, but with that goal in mind. Okay. And you're going to get a lot of clarity. And with that, your other base camps, they might change. Or now that you're on it in the second round through, you might skip base camps. You might skip a few rungs on the ladder of achievement. Okay. Maybe your goal this time, instead of, you're not going to go right for the 100 million, but you're going to keep 100 million in your mind, right? It's there because you're aiming high. It takes no more effort to aim high than to accept poverty, right? So aim high, but maybe in this round, you're going to double your income, or you're going to turn your annual income into your monthly income. Okay. So this is where you get to but just choose one. It doesn't really matter. But when you go back to it a third time, it'll get a little bit bigger. And then the next time a little bit bigger. And you're just like putting together a puzzle, right? The more you do this, the more you're going to build confidence. But the whole point in going back through is to take what you've learned, but you're always applying it now to this next goal, right? And your paradigm's not going to sneak in as much this time, you're going to find. Be more, because you have the level of awareness now that kind of shuts it down before it even starts. Okay, so good. Have fun with it. Okay. Oh, I just closed up my thing. My pen. See here. Sorry, I accidentally closed out the form. Now I gotta find it again. Okay, the more I study self-image, the clearer I get on the whole concept of seeing myself as though. Am I correct in saying that this is ultimately what I think of myself? Yes. Yes. If you can't wrap your head around seeing yourself as though or in a certain way, it goes back to your thinking. Okay, it's all about your thinking. Thoughts, feelings, and actions, right? But it starts with your thoughts. That's why we're thinking into results. It's about thinking of the way you want to be, right? Thinking about what you want in a different way, right? So like I was saying before, being the star of your own movie. It's not simple. It's that simple though. It's not complicated at all. If you want to understand why you are complicating it or why it might be taking you so long, it's because your ego wants to do that. And pay attention if you find that you have very ego-based thinking. What I discovered is ego and self-image and how they work, right? So your ego is defined by all of your past experiences. It sees itself based on history and the self-image that you kind of bring along with it. So your ego doesn't want you to change who you are and become something different, because then it is at risk for losing control and not knowing what the future is even like. Your ego likes to be in control. So it kind of grabs a hold of you and kind of messes with you a lot. So recognize that will happen. But again, this can be easy. Picture your favorite movie. Okay. One of my favorite movies, Forrest Gump, right? I love the main character in it, Forrest Gump. But what happened with that movie was Tom Hanks was given a script and he became that character. Tom Hanks has been given a ton of scripts and he like freaking rocks them every single time. They can be the most complex characters like Forrest Gump, right? But he makes Forrest Gump. And we see this in movies all the time. Or even in a book that you read that is then made into a movie, right? Sometimes it's how you imagine, sometimes it's not. Usually it's not. The book's always way better. I'm that guy. Your image script is the same way though. You're anchored to the old image that wasn't easy, right? But your new image, you get to take that script that you're making and you get to step into that character. And initially it puts you in that XY vibration, right? Because your ego starts going like, what are you doing? This isn't how we act. This isn't how we dressed. You just had someone dress you. What? Okay. Just know that it's going to step in. Julie's asking, does ego get stronger the more we accomplish our goals in our past up until now? Was or did I get a strong ego from my past success? Does your ego get stronger? Well, I mean, the longer that the longer that we're in it, yeah, it's kind of like that gap that keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? And the more we define ourselves by something, right? So, like, I think of when I worked at the hospital, and Julie might resonate with this too. I defined myself by that role, right? So, like, if you asked me who I was, it was like, I'm Delyn. I work at the hospital. Like, this is like, I'm manager of ... whatever I was managing at the time. I'm a mom. I'm a wife, right? And I defined myself by that role, though. So when I made a decision to resign and do my own thing, I had to create a new character. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I really, like, when I think about, right, like, my ego was really like, had really grabbed a hold of that character that I had created. It's almost like now knowing that, God, I'm not even my name. I could change my name, right? Like, this work has been so freeing for me because it's like I needed to give myself permission to let go of all of the titles that I had held in the past, all of the things that I defined myself by that weren't me. Like, just like, I'm not my name. I'm more than just a mom. I am a mom, but I'm not, right? Like, I'm a human that has real desires, right? And wants to achieve them. So, was or did I get a strong ego from my past successes? Yes, probably. So, in their duality between my ego and my new acting as though me, my new image developing, there's a duality struggle. Yes, there will be. Absolutely. Because your ego wants you to stay the same. Your ego wants to keep that image that you've always defined yourself by. But kind of like with your paradigm, you get to say, not today. We're moving on. And this is where things like image consultants can really help too, right? Because you are redefining your inside, like what you believe about yourself, right? And they can help your outside match that and get you further. Like, even if it's as simple as if you've ever got like a new hairstyle, right? And all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, had I not just let, you know, my hairdresser do whatever, I would have never, I would have never chosen this. But now that I have it, I just feel like a new person, right? I used to love in high school, and even university, to like just go through magazines and choose hairstyles and just have at it, right? But I never veered away from like, I've had this color of hair pretty much my entire life. Only now it's not as real as when I was 8. But when I was in, I guess I was probably like 22 or so, I was like, you know what? My younger sister, who has a lot of similar features as I do, she rocks having this color of hair or like a dark brown, right? Like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna like dye my hair brown. And I wanted to like step into, I thought it was gonna like, I was graduating, it was gonna like turn me in from like party university Dylan to like sophisticated, I'm ready to take on life Dylan, right? Instead, I dyed my hair brown and it lasted for like a month because I just was like, no, this isn't me. Like, it does not match how I feel on the inside, right? So I just had to choose my beliefs about what I felt about blonde hair, right? Like, it didn't equal party. I mean, it still equals party, but I like the fact that I'm like a party in a bottle, right? I had to start owning the fact that I can be party in a bottle and a professional. It's not one or the other, right? So, like, what do you believe? Because you'll get what you believe. Good question. Um, I'm struggling with wanting more when I know what I have is already more than most people and what they have, and that most people are having a really hard time right now. How do I move past this? You don't, you can't define what you want based on what other people want. Okay. You wanting more doesn't take away from someone else. We live in an abundant universe that has has more than enough for everyone. And every single human on this planet has the exact same creative energy running to and through them. Every single one of us. Every single one. We live in a very orderly universe and it doesn't play favorites. So if you need to recognize that, if you use the words like struggle, you're going to continue to struggle, but it's your paradigm. Your paradigm is saying that if you get more, you're taking away from other people, and that's not true. Don't focus on if your needs are met. Are your wants met? Like, really think about that. If you start asking yourself that question, are my wants being met? What do you really, really, really want? Where do your wants come from? You have these unexpressed desires inside that want to be fulfilled through you. Wallace D. Waddle says in The Science of Getting Rich, he says, you have an unexpressed possibility within, seeking expression through your actions. It's the unexpressed possibility within. We have wants and desires, and they want out. So it's not that it's unexpressed possibility, it's unexpressed probability. If you were given that want, you are meant to have it. If you've had that desire, you are meant to have it. Stay disconnected from the ego when you're kind of thinking about all this stuff. Think, like I like to think, where is this desire coming from? Okay, well, if I have this desire, then I must be able to do it, or else I wouldn't have been given this desire. And it's that simple. If I have a desire, I'm supposed to do it. God, spirit, universe is trying to express itself through me. I'm obligated to explore it. I have a responsibility to express that desire. It is my responsibility as a human. And even sometimes I just feel so grateful to be living in this time that I think every desire that I have, when I express that desire, it's like me saying, like, thank you. Thank you for putting me here in this moment, in this time. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm not going to waste it. I promise. And it can be that simple. So, like I already mentioned, make a list of all your wants and look at them and ask, do I see myself with these? Not, do I really think I can have it? It's, do I see myself with a bank account that looks like that? Do I see myself living in that house? Do I see myself dressing this way? Do I see myself in this kind of relationship? Do I see myself in this kind of job? Yes, then you're meant to have it. Like now you're obligated to move forward with it. And it's not really negotiable. I think as humans, we think it is. We think it's like, oh, well, I get to choose. And it's like, you do get to choose. But if, like, you need to understand that one thing is leading to the next, which is leading to the next, which is leading to the next. And it's all happening for a reason. The universe is trying to find openings for you, but it's like throwing it in your face, the opportunities, the people, right? The fact that you're here right now learning this from me for a reason. It's your time to start stepping into this. And it's that simple. Your current external reality is a reflection of your internal. So now just flip it. Make a list of all the external that you want. And then what would the internal have to look like to get there, to get you there? What do you need to believe? What do your thoughts need to be? Which will then attach a feeling, which will then put you into action. But this is where it's like messing around with small little goals. What's the point? It'll put you into small little actions. And then you start programming, right? What you want. You start writing it out. You read it over and over and over. You listen to it. You read it over and over and over until you don't have to read it anymore. And maybe you need some accountability to get it done. But I think you might be complicating it a little wee bit. Good. Do you make a schedule or use your calendar to make sure everything gets done that you want each day and then each week? I'm using a reminders app a lot, but I'm to the point now where I feel like I need to even schedule when I eat. Yes, you should be doing that. until it's a habit, I highly recommend time blocking. I still time block, and they are habits. But I do it because I go by, like, at the end of every day, I reflect back on my day and I assess, how did that feel? How did I show up? Did I show up as me with my goal achieved every day? Did I show up whether I was on here with you guys, or whether I was in one of my other businesses, or whether I was with my girls, or whether I was with Dave, or whether I was with my mom, or it doesn't matter, right? I know Dylan with her goal achieved, how she is in all of whatever hat she's wearing. I know exactly how she is, how she acts, how she responds, she doesn't react, how she makes decisions quickly, how she leaves people with the impression of increase, right? I know how she is. And I reflect at the end of every single day and I say, did she show up like that? Right? I know she has health goals. So if all of a sudden I'm going, oh, okay, well, I didn't really eat that much because I was too busy showing up in all the spaces. And oh, I kind of half-assed my workout and whatever, right? I said I was going to call this person and I didn't, or I said I was going to, walk the dog with this friend, but I didn't because whatever, right? Dylan with her goal achieved doesn't do that. She doesn't overcommit herself. Old Dylan, written by Linda, totally did that up until yesterday, right? The time block. And yes, if you have health goals, which we all should, highly recommend an ongoing goal, like your C-type goal isn't going to be a relationship and or health goal. Okay. Like your base camp goals can be, but health and relationships are going to be something you're constantly, like, working to improve constantly. Because what's the point of doing anything else? There's no point in having $1 million in your bank account if you have no relationships and crappy health, right? So your health and your relationships are always something that you're going to be working on. So you need to block that into your schedule. Period. You need to make sure that, if you have health goals, if you need to meet up with a dietitian and they tell you to eat 5 or 6 small meals a day, that you're time blocking those in and eating intentionally, because it is what you eat, but it's your relationship with food too, right? Like, that's going to get you different results. It's not just, going for the walk every day. I mean, it is, you want to make sure you're moving your body every day, but it's like your mindset and your thought around exercise and movement, your relationship with it. What do you feel that it does for your body? If you need a time block, so that, like, I time block even my showers in, because I know when I'm either out in nature or in the shower, that's when I get my best downloads. So I honor that, right? And start habit stacking. So if you, so when I'm, for example, listening to my life script first thing in the morning, after I've done my gratitude and my mirror work, that's when I'm like filling my diffusers and taking my supplements and drinking a huge thing of lemon water first thing in the morning, right? Like, I stack those because, again, me with my goal achieved, I'm super healthy. How do I stay healthy? I drink water. I take my LLVs, and I use my oils, right? Like, and then you work it all in. But you just got to think, you with your goal achieved, what do you do? But I highly recommend habit stacking. It's different than multitasking. Multitasking would be me trying to, like, answer a text while also, no, like, as the more you go through TIR, the more you are going to be expanding, and you're going to be taking on, like, you're going to take on different projects for yourself, right? And I recommend, like, and even for myself, like, I have 3 different businesses, right? So I time block so my brain's not all over the place. I've got my 6 things that I want to accomplish. I established those the night before, right? And then I say, okay, this is when I'm spending time on this business. Then this is when I'm chunking out calls and spending time on this business and whatever, right? So that I'm not trying to fly all over the place. And honestly, like everything is in my iCalendar on my iPhone. And even Dave and I have our calendars synced so that we can, like, I can see, you know, obviously I know if he's working, but so that we always have someone home with the kids, right? I'm not going to set up a meeting outside, like at a coffee shop somewhere, if he's, you know, gone to an appointment, right? So that might also help you a lot, like to help kind of run your house. And he can always turn my calendar off if it gets, because everything's timed out, it can get noisy, right? For him, he's like, it looks like you have a lot going on. I'm like, it does, but if you read them, it's like workout and shower, eat. Like if I want specific time with the girls and I don't want anybody to book calls, I put like momming in there, right? And then I shut my phone off and I shove it in a drawer during that time so that I'm not distracted, right? Because Dylan with her goal achieved doesn't get distracted by that stuff. But I highly recommend time blocking, habit stacking. Okay. Over in the chat, I'm reading, I'm in an uncomfortable place these days and have been since I've been in an XY vibration. So on the days I have full and are doing great forward steps. If I eat and drink water or take a couple of breaks for 20 minutes. So last night when a couple oops on my husband part, then I tripped over a dog toy. I behaved in a way of a small, cold reacting, having a big cry. So upsetting in retrospect. And then I accidentally FaceTimed someone and I dropped my phone and fell over a ball. It happens. But do you notice, and here's where the thing is, you will continue when you are on that, in that negative vibration, you will continue to attract that in. You will spiral down, right? It's like, and Bob gives the example of, you know, you wake up in the morning and you step out of bed and you step on, you know, the dog's bone and it hurts your foot, right? And then maybe you're walking to the bathroom half asleep and you stub your toe. And then, you know, you're brushing your teeth and you're out of the shower and you're all dressed and you get toothpaste down your shirt. And then you're driving to work, and where there's no traffic, usually there's traffic. And then you're, you know, late for work. Then, you know, whatever, right? But it's you literally and it all started with stepping on the dog's bone and stubbing your toe, right? And all day you just seem to go, and you know, at the end of the day you get home, honey, how was your day? It was crap. It was absolutely crap. When really you could have decided back here somewhere to press the restart button so that you can move yourself into this polarity. And how do you move yourself into this polarity? Through knowledge and faith, gratitude, right? There's some mornings that I really I do this. If, like, say I was, you know, up all night, if Izzy's sugars were all over the place, you know, and I'm in between, whatever, right? And it always seems, so I say to Dave, it always seems the nights that I'm up every hour checking her sugar for her diabetes, like those are the ones, like, okay, I just get back to bed and Allie's had a bad dream, or and then I just get back to bed and, Izzy's alarm's going off for her sugar. And then I just get back to bed and, the dog wants out, like, and he never wants out in the middle of the night. Right. And it just seems, but I know. So when I wake up in the morning, I know that this is what happened. And that's why I do another reason why I do gratitude first thing in the morning. And it totally sets me up for the rest of the day. So I highly recommend that. And just remind yourself that you get to hit the restart button anytime, anytime. And it can be easy. You're right. It's a domino effect and it just keeps spiraling. But guess what else can be a domino effect? The positive polarity. Awesome, right? So good. Okay. How important is it to have a definite date in your affirmation, for your affirmation, your goal, with dates and numbers? So a couple of things for the date. I mean, at the end of the day, you're guessing because time doesn't exist. Okay. That's a bigger topic, but it doesn't, right? But the law of gender says, and this is one of the universal laws that we work within, right? The law of gender says that every thing comes from a seed and is both male and female, and every seed has a gestational period. And so anything that you plant in your mind, when it's nurtured, it will grow. You're guessing on the date because you don't actually know what the date's going to be, but you need to come up with one because you're letting the universe know when you desire this by, right? But it doesn't, this is why when I choose a date, I always say honor before, right? When I did that 500,000, it was, I desire $500,000 on or before May 20th, 2020, right? And it was on or before. It was the 19th, actually. But this is where you get to, put it out there. And it's really whatever date you're kind of letting your ego run that date, right? Because it might say, there's no way you could do that in the next year. Choose 5 years. Sure, choose 5 years. But if you say on or before, it can still happen in the next year. Quantum leaps do happen. It's physics. Okay. But do not change the date unless you pass it. And it's okay if you have to change the date. But when I was saying for a whole year, I desire $500,000 on or before May 20th, 2020, if come May 1st, I would have said like, oh, and I mean, this is legit what happened. I was $16,000 short. There's no way I'm going to make $16,000 in the next 20 days, right? There's no way that could happen. But the how is not up to me. And I had already proven to myself in the last year that if in my mind, I chose to believe, okay, if I can have 480, whatever, 4,000 in this amount of time, why can't I have 16,000 in the next 20 days? Right. And sure enough, right, my dishwasher had been leaking. Insurance hands me a check on May 19th for $16,005. Right? The how is not up to you. But you need to commit to a date that you want, and it is irrevocable. You need to hold that date in your mind and be open to the universe when you start getting all of the people, places, things, tools, resources lining up to get you there. But you do not renege on that date. The law of gender says everything has a gestational period. The problem with humans is we know that it takes 9 months to grow a baby. We know it takes, 90 days to grow a carrot, right? To harvest. We don't know the gestational period of your goal. But I can tell you, if you attach a date to it, then and hold that in your mind and take action, that it's not a matter of if it comes to you, it's when. Question in the chat, is there a date for changing my habit or my paradigm if it's an affirmation? I'm writing, is this an affirmation to change a new belief or want to change my habits in my habit, my paradigm? Isn't this what the word affirmation is in our TIR? Oh, that's for the previous question. What question was I answering before? I think I blacked out. Okay, so we're not doing this is for the time blocking, habit stacking. Yes. Is this a date for changing my habit? No, so you're creating a date for your goal. Oh, the question I'm on. Yeah, so this is a date for your goal. So the goal that you wrote on your card and the goal that you say to yourself every day as often as possible, I desire ... on or before whatever the date is. In exchange for this, I will give, right? Think and Grow Rich, page 22, I feel like it is. It's 22 in my copy. Fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. If it's not sufficient, merely to say I want plenty of money. Be definite about the amount. Determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. So again, I would recommend on your goal card and the one you're saying for it to be your next base camp goal. So you have your C-type goal, your summit, right? But you're going to affirm and write down the first base camp, and you're going to use TIR to get you there, and then you're going to use TIR again, next base camp, TIR, next base camp, right? And TIR might make you go, whoop. I've seen people do that, legit. And I've seen people do this. But at the end, you're going to get here. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. I thought the affirmation is what we're trying to change. The affirmation is what you're trying to change. So you're affirming your affirmations. So when I say that you're affirming your goal, it means that you're repeating it over and over to yourself. So yes, you're also affirming your non-productive activities into your productive activities, like lesson 2 and 3. But every day before you start studying, I want you writing out your goal. Every morning when you wake up, I want you saying your goal. Every time you see that goal card, I want you saying that goal and feeling it. And taking your non-productives and turning them into productives, because that's what's going to get you, that you have to change your beliefs in order to reach your goal. So that's your affirmations. But affirming something just means that you're repeating it to yourself over and over. And it's constant spaced repetition that gets you what you want. Cool? Good. I worry that my productive activities are not the right ones. They are the right ones. It's trusting that you're overthinking it. You need to provide your mind with a very specific target. Okay. So when you've identified a non-productive thought, action, or belief that you have, a non-productive activity, a productive activity is the opposite of that. And when you really look at that and you say, okay, you know, non-productive is I take responsibility for to and for everybody in my family. Okay, that's non-productive, right? We know that you're only responsible to and for yourself. So a productive thought and belief is that I'm responsible to and for myself only, right? Or maybe my kids, depending on how old they are, right? Um, but you need to, and then you affirm that to yourself, because this is what you need to believe. This belief here has got you this far, but it's, trust me, not going to get you to the top of the mountain. Taking responsibility to and for everybody is like the bricks in your backpack that are just weighing you down, right? But you need to provide your mind with something very specific, and you study and repeat what you want. Train and practice all of it and get really good at it. You have to have goal achieving habits. This is what lessons 2 and 3 and 4 are all about, because we have so many habits that aren't leading us to our goal. We have so many thoughts and beliefs and behaviors that aren't going to get us to where we need to go. So you decide how you spend your time, how you spend your waking hours. Are you going to spend it doing NPAs, or are you going to spend it doing PAs? But your beliefs are what's going to, remember, thoughts, feelings, action. And it's not action, feeling, thoughts. It starts here. These need to be productive. These need to be the thoughts that you with your goal achieved have. And then you need to affirm them, write them out, say them, listen to them, all the things to get them into your subconscious. Feel them, become one with them, and then it will naturally put you into action. You don't even have to try. And action then feels really easy. Cool. Good. Awesome. My question is about my goal. I understand having a base camp, a mid mountain, and a summit. I'm using TIR to focus on my base camp right now and then the next base camp. But I'm also practicing my affirmations, the mid level and the summit. And it's all aligned. But I want to check how you recommend doing it. So if you need to, if your goal is to get focus, if you find you're getting distracted and you're losing your focus towards the base camp goal, for sure incorporate, your summit goal in there. But I don't think anyone ever loses sight of the summit. Like if you've said, I want $1 million, and your first base camp is, to make 100,000, you still don't lose, you're not going to lose sight of this million. Most often people have a problem focusing on the base camp and even the mid mountain goal, but they're focusing up here and they find it overwhelming, and then that's when they're hit with the terror barrier before they even start, because they're like, I can't even wrap my head around having $1 million. That just seems crazy to me. I see that every time I talk to somebody. They're like, I can't even wrap my head around that much money. I'm like, then don't. But the fact that I asked you what you wanted and you said $1 million, it's what you want. You're obligated to go find it, but let's take it one step at a time. First stop, 100,000, right? At the end of the day, if you're climbing Everest for the first time, it's going to be scary, right? But then when you climb it a second time, or if after you climb Everest, you hop over and climb Mount Kilimanjaro, right? You're going to do it with more confidence and it's going to be easier, right? It's like you have one kid, it's scary as hell. And then you have another one, you're like, I got this. Did this first time, got this second time, right? Remember, as soon as you get emotionally involved with the picture of what you want, this is when your paradigm's going to kick in. It's not if, it's guaranteed. So all of a sudden, when you look at the summit, you get hijacked by your paradigm and it takes control of your entire intellect. So that's what's happening with this question. Okay, it's like owning a phone. Okay. The hardware of the phone is your body. And inside this phone, there's a chip. If I got a new phone, a new body, I would just take the chip out and move it around, right? That chip is your brain. The SIM card that I can take out and move around, this is how you can send and receive information. That's your mind. And then in it, there's an operating system that runs the whole thing. Apple sends you updates all the time saying, do you want to update your operating system? That's right. That's your paradigm. Then you have a bunch of apps on here that can do things. It's a machine and it works perfectly until something's different. Right? But it can be super simple. Super simple. You just have to keep climbing. So in the chat, if we get off the habit list over 1 week, is it like climbing a mountain to get back to the place I was thriving in? Even though I was moving forward, you get to decide to keep moving forward. It's not again, it's not a matter of if, whether it's your paradigm that's going to sneak in and take you out for a little bit or an outside circumstance. Remember, we are programmed to think from the outside in. Your whole life you have spent moving towards whatever you can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. And now I'm saying, don't pay attention to those things. I mean, they're there to keep you safe, right? Don't walk into a wall. You can see it. Don't let something burn. You can smell it, right? But you're not living your life by those things anymore. You're living your life from the outside in or the inside out. You're using those higher faculties. And you now know that the energy out here that's coming in through all your senses, it's not positive or negative. It just is. You decide what it is. So if something takes you out, go, that took me out for a hot second. No, thank you, Linda. Not today. Restart. You know that like Staples commercial with the easy button? I want one of those that just says restart, like restart. And that's it. You just keep affirming over and over and over again. Again, it can be so simple. We just get into the habit of complicating it. Awesome. That is the end of my questions. Does anybody have, I have a couple more minutes. If anybody has any before we wrap up, that's on live right now. Any? Going once, going twice. Thank you, my friends. Thank you for joining live with me. Have an awesome day. Oh, if you are on, if you're in Thinking Into Results, Bob's going to be live with us He just announced it yesterday. So I tagged you in the post I did yesterday. When I found out on the Facebook group, there's a link there to register. So he's going live at 11 Eastern. So I will see you guys there. See you.